and want to see it, we got a lot to cover because we got like basically 3 weeks worth of
pretty much
of things. So the first week, which is our spring break that we were off, we had Hannah Montana, Dragon Ball, and Observe and Report.
Hannah Montana, which did remarkably well
For Easter weekend.
Yeah, and I guess to date has made about $67 million.
Yeah, it was, 67.
And, you know, Dragon Ball Z, which, you know, tanked like we thought it would. It'll probably do well on DVD with the...
It actually did well overseas. I think it made its money back in Japan.
Yeah, obviously. Observe and Report, which you saw.
Yes.
And said that the marketing campaign was just completely awful.
Yeah, no, they should have showed the Red Band trailer in every chance they got. Whenever I went to the theater and saw a rated R movie, they played the Green Brand trailer, which made it look like a funny comedy.
Like a wacky Seth Rogen comedy.
Like, it's 40-year-old virgin kind of, you know. But it wasn't. It was a complete opposite. It was very dark. It's a black comedy. I try my best to try to find something that I could relate to it, and I couldn't.
Yeah.
It's just that kind of movie. When I went and saw it, it was about 95% older males, I would say in 30 and 40.
Because they
audience, it was just packed.
They probably thought they were going to see a wacky Seth Rogen comedy.
I really thought for a second that like a construction company had let out for the day, and everyone in the construction company decided to go see this movie because that's what it looked like. You know, bigger, gruffy, older men.
Maybe you stumbled into somebody's corporate party.
And I was like, did I go to the wrong theater? Like I'm checking my stub. I'm like, the heck is this? And it was, you know, so I guess that's his.
Right.
The thing is, I loved it. I got the things that I was supposed to get out of it.
Right.
I think a lot of people didn't. Like the reviewer, who was female, that reviewed it for the paper, hated it. She thought it was like the worst movie ever made. So I think it's down the line between male and female.
Yeah.
There was a whole talk about the borderline rape scene, which was not. People didn't get that his bipolar disorder caused him to do things like beat up cops, and but I loved it. I loved it. Halfway through the movie, when he's beating up all these cops, you're like, where can this movie go after he's assaulting 25 police officers? And then the ending I thought was great, and here's why I love the ending. I would have given it like a B, but then right at the end, they played the Pixies' Where's My Mind during the chase scene. And the funniest thing, I swear to God, you can back me up on this, I saw it Friday evening. Friday morning, the first song I played when I came in here was the Pixies song, Where's My Mind? And we had seen Fight Club a few weeks before. I don't know why the song was on my mind that day. So when the song played at the very end, I'm like, oh my God, what a coincidence. And so they play that song during the last action sequence. And the last action sequence, I won't give it away, but something happens that you're just like, oh, what the? Like, how is this movie gonna, go on from there? So that's why I loved it. Went a little long there, but that's why I liked it.
The following week, we got State of Play.
Yes.
Which I heard is a really, really great thriller.
I'm still waiting to see it. Yeah.
I read some of the spoilers about it, and it sounds like it's something pretty good. You probably enjoy. 17 again, which turned out to be the #1 movie. A lot of people went and saw it.
Yeah,
Hey, I mean, Zac Efron, Matthew Perry. I think people just wanted an escape.
About 39 million so far.
Crank 2, which didn't really make a lot of money because it's it's Crank 2.
Yeah.
How far could they possibly go? And from what I hear, it was just out of control crazy.
Yeah, I read the spoilers, and I just thought that, I saw the first one because it was something new, it was innovative, never seen it before. This one just sounded like that, but then they cranked it to 11. And they just took every chance they could to be offensive and violent and nasty and perverted, and just for the sake of being those things. And I'm not going to pay like $8.50 to see that.
There's just no point. This week we had Obsessed turned out to be the #1 movie with about 28 million.
Yes.
So I mean, I suppose these movies are trying to get their last few dollars in before the summer blockbusters.
Because Wolverine starts this week. So.
Yeah, and then Star Trek and Terminator. So they start rolling out pretty quickly. So they're just trying to get their money in while they can. You saw The Soloist.
Yes, I went and saw The Soloist on Saturday. Big crowd. A very different kind of crowd. It was a lot of older people, younger people. There was kids in there. Oh, okay. All sorts of we had white people, black people, Mexican. It appealed to everyone. A a little long. It was about 2 hours, maybe a little longer with the previews. That's why I thought it was a little long. It was kind of mismarketed as Jamie Foxx's crazy guy, but it really was Robert Downey Jr. down on his luck reporter for the LA Times who finds himself by helping out this homeless guy.
So I know this is a long shot, but just to clarify it, if they were nominated for awards, Robert Downey Jr. would be lead and Jamie Foxx would be supporting?
Yeah. But I have a feeling they might just screw it around and, because, what is Robert Downey Jr.'s big thing at Tropic Thunder? I don't want to say that's all.
No, I get what you're saying, right?
But if you play mentally challenged, you're guaranteed an Oscar.
Bait,
so that's why I think Jamie Foxx's role is Oscar bait. But Robert Downey Jr. does an amazing, amazing job. And the rest of the cast, too. You had Catherine Keener, Lisa Gay Hamilton.
Oh, wow.
I don't know how to say her name. Lorraine Toussaint. She was on Crossing Jordan.
Oh, Lorraine Toussaint?
Yes. She was in it for just a little bit. She played his mom, but she was great, too.
Wow.
I've been a big fan of hers since Crossing Jordan. So I thought the acting was great. We even had Stephen Root in there for just a really small part.
Wow, okay.
So he was great. So I thought the acting was really good. The directing was fabulous. I think because Joe Wright came from, was it Pride and Prejudice and Atonement.
Yeah.
So there's this, it was beautifully shot.
And he really, I got a chance to talk to him, and he said that he really wanted to show the beauty of the area. I mean, everybody knows it's a rough part of town, it's a rough neighborhood, but he wanted to show the beauty behind it. And he also talked about how he used real people from the homeless community as extras, because he didn't want to have to tell their story. He wanted them to be involved in telling their own story.
And I think that's visually you can just tell that. You couldn't, I could tell those aren't actors.
Oh, okay.
But they did a great job.
So
I think you should see it. It's kind of an uplifting movie.
True
it doesn't
story?
have it's kind of a true story.
Based on a true story.
Yeah, and I think the thing too is I realized is I knew before that I had met Steve Lopez. We went to LA Times to give out college awards. And so we received a college award one time, and he hosted, and I got to meet him. What I didn't realize is I met him during this entire time.
Wow.
So while this was going on, I actually met him. And the way I did that was because they showed him watching a thing about Hurricane Katrina. And so that's how I figured out, okay. So as long as that part of the movie is true. So I think, that's kind of cool.
Okay.
And I remember talking about his, because at the time, when he did these stories, they were like, wow, these are great stories. So I remember even reading these when he first wrote them. So finally being able to see them, I think, was a great thing. One thing else I want to talk about box office-wise is Monsters vs. Aliens did something fabulous that I'm happy for. It finally dethroned Paul Blart Mall Cop as the #1 movie of 2009.
Well, I think that's important because obviously some of these big summer blockbusters will come out and they're going to crush the competition easily. But we just don't want to look back on history and be like the first half of the year the most successful movie was Paul Blart Mall Cop.
Yeah, for I would say almost 3 months he's been on the top of that thing. I'm like, please, someone just do that. So it's made $174 million, and then Fast and the Furious actually took the #2 spot.
Oh, okay.
So it's $145 million. I think Paul Blart is at $144, and then Taken is right behind that with $142.
I think that's the surprise hit of the year so far. But like I said, this is all relative because in the next couple weeks, all these figures are going to be crushed.
Yeah, on Friday it'll be destroyed.
Yeah.
In probably a week and a half.
Right.
And then Star Trek and Terminator.